Hear our prayer, O God, that you would use and overrule the words that I speak and the thoughts that we think, to the end that it may be your word which is preached and your word which is heard. In Jesus' name. Amen. The Missouri Synod Lutheran Church is a particularly conservative brand of Lutheranism. And I was once interviewed by a Missouri Synod Lutheran seminary student. I was interviewed about the theology of the Episcopal Church. And not very long into the interview, I found myself having to say, "Listen, I'm sorry, but you are asking Missouri Synod questions, and all I have are Episcopal answers." So in the heart of the gospel was the sentence, "In the morning, Jesus came to them walking on the sea." That's the core of today's gospel story. To get at what that is about, we must ask the right questions. We can ask sheerly literal and critical questions about what really happened. Those questions may lead to dismissing the whole thing as primitive magic or fantasy, or they may locate it psychologically somehow in the disciples' heads. Or we can ask conservative and pious questions that lead to orthodox answers, requiring literal acceptance of what the story says about a miracle. I believe that either of those sets of questions are the wrong questions, and they will miss the story's own answers. Look at it this way. Both history books and good novels convey truth, but each of them does it in its own way. If you read a novel as if it were a history book, or vice versa, you will miss the kind of truth it is conveying. What really happened? Those kinds of questions are appropriate for history book truth. Different questions are needed if we're going to appreciate the truth that's conveyed in novels. And this story of Jesus walking on the water is, as I see it, meant to convey the truth about Jesus in the way novels convey truth, rather than in the way history books convey truth. The key to the story is the role seas and waters play in the lore and literature of the world of the Bible. In the Enuma Elish, the Babylonian creation myth echoed in the first chapter of the Bible, a terrible, destructive, watery chaos monster existed eons before the earth. The earth and life on the earth came into being finally as the result of a cosmic battle in which the God of order was victorious over chaos. And earth came into being as an island afloat in a gaping, almost mortal wound in the big body of the chaos monster. And so the earth was floating above and below and all around the edges of the earth. The waters of chaos's conquered body sloshed menacingly. That chaos might revive was an ever-constant threat. Destructive waters as downpours from the heavens above, or surging tsunamis in the waters below and around the edges of the earth. Destructive waters might come and wipe out life and order. The battle between the Creator God and chaos was never quite finished. Chaos kept trying. In the rains and floods of winter, in the surging waves of the sea, or in illnesses and inner depression and anxiety, in oppressive pharaohs and Roman emperors, chaos kept trying to wipe out life and order. And to be human was to live under the threat of annihilation. Inescapable tension and stress were the human lot. Such is the background of the sea and water in this story of Jesus walking on the water. Such is the background of the sea and its howling winds and battering waves. The original hearers of this story would have understood that. For the disciples to head home after the wonderful experience of Jesus caring and providing a miraculous meal for the crowd in the wilderness, which we heard about last Sunday just before this particular passage, for the disciples to head home for that was to return to the stress and anxiety and insecurity of ever-threatening chaos. Truly, they are, as the story puts it, battered by the waves with the wind against them. Chaos is threatening to overwhelm them. The story's about that. And it's about Jesus as their champion against ever-threatening chaos. And furthermore, the story is meant to be about that, not just for those who gave us the New Testament, not just as a report of a past event. Those who gave us the story, and this is what this sermon is about, those who gave us the story meant it to be about that for us as well, to be good news for us about who Jesus is for them and for us. The story is a back then version of a right now truth. For the earth and we who inhabit it still live under the threat of terrifying, unpredictable, destructive upsurges of chaos. Ask those who have experienced hurricanes in New Orleans, or earthquakes in Haiti and New Zealand, or tsunamis in Japan. Ask those who have experienced years of devastating drought in parts of Africa. Ask people like me whose pensions and social security are at the mercy of forces which can be unleashed by intransigently ideological politicians or greedy hedge fund managers or Ponzi schemers. Ask those whose lives have been invaded by life-smothering, pain-racking cancer, or desperate, suicide-spawning depression. Chaos is still demonically alive and frighteningly well. That's what the story is about, for us as well as them. But the story is also about someone who takes on chaos, who is on our side, who walks right across the waters of chaos to reach out and lift us up